All right, today we'll be going over the Lobster N1A2, which is a pneumatic rib nut setter, and we'll be reviewing how to change out the nose piece and mandrel. First, you need proper tools. One, you need the Lobster approved adjustable wrench, and then also you need some lithium grease. First step is to remove the nose piece, which you'll see threaded right here on the front. And on that nose piece is also a lock nut for the nose piece as well. We'll take both those items off the front of the frame head. Once you've threaded those off, just set those aside. Your next step is take your adjustable wrench. Make sure that you're using the approved Lobster wrench, which is machined for the size of the flat on the frame head lock nut, and you'll loosen that. Once you've got it loosened, the entire frame head comes off. Slide the frame head off, set that aside. Now you're to the point at which you can access the mandrel. There's a retaining ring that you pull back here. Once you've pulled that back, that locks the mandrel retainer in place. You thread the mandrel retainer off. Once that's done, the mandrel will then slide out of the mandrel retainer and set that aside. If you're replacing to change to a different size, or if you're just replacing a worn out mandrel, once you can see very clearly on this one that there's an ample amount of grease on the collet head and then along the taper, which is important. If not, if you're replacing a new, you've got the lithium grease that you would place on the collet head and on the mandrel taper. Then once you've done that, you'll see the hex head Allen drive shaft. And just to kind of give you a better idea of kind of how that mates up, you'll see a slotted head on the mandrel, this universal regardless of mandrel size. And that lines up with the Allen hex square drive of the tool. So you'll place your mandrel retainer back through, or pull your retaining locking nut back, thread that on. Once you go to seat, you'll notice you'll not be able to place your lock nut back on. You rotate back until you get alignment, and then your lock nut will seat back in. After you've done that, take your frame head, slide it back on, and tighten it on to hand tight. Once it's seated out, take your wrench and pull to snug. The last piece is to replace or inspect your nose piece. You'll notice you have a lock nut with flats on it that can be adjusted, and we'll talk about that in other videos for setting up the tool. That entire piece threads on, and something to note is your nose piece is specific to your mandrel size, so they go hand in hand. If you change out your mandrel, you should change out your nose piece. Once you've got that to the desired depth, you can set your lock nut and use your adjustable wrench again to just pull that to snug. And that's how easy it is to change out a mandrel set on an N1A2. Thank you.